I have a home,
Mm-hmm.
refinanced it in 6 months, realized it was back to square one,
Mm-hmm.
but I did it in 6 months. Now I am starting to pay a little extra, but I don't know how much extra should I be paying and when, because I know that time frame does matter.
It does. It does. So not only that, Natalia, here's what you also want to consider. Do you like discount shopping?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
and I got a lower percent 2.3.
2.3. All right. So you like discount shopping. And then when you go to your favorite department store and you buy some things on sale, all right, what happens when you go to the checkout? When you go to the check, they print at the bottom of the receipt.
You save this amount of money
Exactly. And why do they do that?
to show you how much you saved and for you to come back.
Okay. So when you're paying extra on your mortgage, you know you're saving time and you know you're saving interest, right?
Yes.
So has the bank ever said, thank you very much for this extra payment? Here's how much interest you saved.
No,
No.
at all.
Why don't they do that?
They don't want to have you pay early.
So would you think it would be important to know what is the right amount to pay so you would know how much interest you are actually saving?
Yes, that would be great.
That would be great. Okay. So let me put something on the screen. I'm going to put your mortgage on the screen. Can we do that?
Okay, sounds good.
So I'm going to go ahead and open this up so that you can see what we're doing. I'm going to slide that over to here. There we go. Now, after refinancing, you said you got a 2.3 interest rate.
Yes.
Okay. And about how much did you borrow at the time? What was your loan for at the time of the refinance? It doesn't have to be exact.
It was 360.
360,000.
Originally it was 370 when I bought the home.
Mm-hmm.
It went down to 360 before I refinance
Right.
in 6 months.
All right. And did they charge you for the refinance?
Yes, they did. I went back to 374.
So it cost you about 14,000.
Yes.
Okay. Let me show you something about that. Okay. So now we're at back to 360,000, right?
Yes.
At 2.3. And the principal and interest payment on that, and I'm just talking about the principal and interest, not the taxes and insurance, is $1385.28.
Okay.
Okay, $1385.28 in that neighborhood. All right, and so we're scrolling down, and we see that even at 2.3% on your $360,000 you borrowed, the bank wants $138,700 in interest.
Yes.
That's not 2.3. That's actually 38% of what you borrowed.
Mm.
Yeah. Because what is 2.3% of 360? Well, it certainly isn't 138,000. Okay.
Yes.
So let's scroll down here. Let's scroll down and take a look at your payments here. The very first payment you made on that, $695.28 went to principal, while 690 of your dollars went to interest. How about that?
Oh, wow.
$690 went to interest. And the next month, $696.61 went to principal, while your interest dropped to $688.67. So it's all about what the interest cost is. And your interest cost starts at $690 on the first payment. By the 12th payment, it drops down to $675.20. But every month, 600, 600, 600, 600 goes to interest every single month. Do you know how long it stays in the 600s? For the first year, the second year,
the 10 or 15 years.
I'm into the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, and we start out in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 months of the sixth year, and then it drops down to $599.
Okay.
Okay. And it's going to be about 6 or 7 years in the $500 range every month paying interest. My question is, do you want to keep doing that?
Oh, no, I paid extra. No.
Okay. So what we're going to do is find out how that paying extra actually works. All right. And what was your interest rate before?
I should have kept it. It was 3.7.
3.7?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, If you're following the experts, you did exactly what the experts are teaching. Lower that interest rate when you can, and then make that payment. But that is if you keep the loan for 360 months. See, all of the numbers that we are told about when it comes to comparing which loan to get and which interest rate to get, it's based on 360 payments. But if you're trying to make less than 360 payments, they don't have the numbers for that. How can they tell you which is the best to do when they can't give you the numbers for how long you're going to be in debt? How would you like to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free with the amount of money that you're making right now? And what if you could be out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? Then we can project the interest savings, and then you would know which interest rate to use.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we do. So now let's take a look at this. So I'm going to show you a couple of things right now, but somewhere your loan to refinance costs between $10,000 and $14,000. And I'm going to show you why the bank did not ask you to pay that out of pocket, but roll it into the mortgage. And I'm just assuming that's exactly what happened.
Yes, it sure did.
Okay, so now to get back to where you were, even at 2.3%, you have to pay off that first $14,000, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so now we're thinking, oh, I'd like to borrow money at 2.3%. And so rolling that into the mortgage didn't raise your payment by all of that much. So let's go ahead and not pay the $14,000 out of pocket, and we'll roll it into the mortgage and we'll get that lower payment. But let's take a look at what happens. Okay, so we're going to bring this up on the screen. I'm going to bring it down into the payments. And in the first year, do you know how much we pay off on this loan in the first year? $8,431.88. We're still trying to pay off the $14,000. Are you following?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay. And guess what? The interest the bank wants on the first $8,400, they want $8,000 interest on the first $84,000. By the time you pay off the first $14,000, it takes 20 months and a total of $13,543.87. That's what they're hoping for. So they're looking for right around $27,000, all right,
Yes.
to do a refi to get back to your original $345,000 at the time you refinance. And this is what the banks aren't telling us. No one tells us that. It's only taught here in the P.I.L.L method. What's really going on behind the scenes.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.